Okay. Hey, anybody else sign guidelines? Last call. They're due Friday. As long as they get back Friday, you're good. A lot of you turn them in kind of right away. So we can finally get back into the actual curriculum today. You're in a little bit better spot than period 5, and I'll give you the same kind of warning. I know all of you. I'm fine with the seats you've chosen. I know we're tight quarters. We still need to make sure we're getting stuff done. If I get the sense we're too loud in between everything we do, if you can't pull it back and go with us when we're together, I will do some seats. And trust me, I can make you some fun seats since I know you all. I don't want to do that. Let's just make sure, I'm fine where you are. Just let's maintain productivity, okay? Because I actually think today might be tricky for some of you, but that's good. Wish we could have done it yesterday, but we didn't have that chance. Okay? You have the second part of 1.1 to complete. Hopefully you didn't do the second part. You probably figured out very quickly where it ended, okay, because you saw some weird looking paper, and that's what we're going to kind of get into now. Okay? Cool. Do you like the thing I built? Okay, I built that. Cool. I don't need to go over the homework I went over with you yesterday. Instead, I want you to have a quick conversation with anybody around you about what on earth is going on up there. Go ahead. Try to be as specific as you can, not just one word. Okay, now, I heard a variety of things. I just heard somebody say real knee slapper. Was that on this? Not a joke, okay? How would you describe it to somebody? Because you can't just get it in one word, but just in general. Anybody want to try to tell me, what is going on? What is this? Yeah?
It's a shape designed that way from different angles. It casts different shadows.
So if I were looking at it, I don't know, which way? This way, maybe? If I looked at it this way, this is me. You might notice I look the same as last year anytime I drew myself. Okay? What would I actually see? The claim is I would see which letter?
B.
Is that true? Because you're looking here. Would I see that? I wouldn't really see that piece right there underneath because it's blocked. What would I see here? What else? Here. There. Okay. Would I see that? Yeah, nothing's blocking it. Would I see that? Actually, I would see that. Okay, and if you do project there, you actually see the D. It's a little tricky. Okay, actually, you would see this as well. That's why it occurs like that. And the claim is, we'll look at this again later on. If I look at it from, see I'm getting bigger, that direction, I should see what? Should see A with only the pieces I can actually see. And how would I actually obtain seeing this? Okay, there you go. Okay, you get the idea. So we're going to look at something like that a little bit later. Might you need to rotate the page and look, and you might need to get up and stand and look at things? Yeah, that's okay. It happens, okay? But there's cool things out there. I have a couple other things that are kind of cool. With that, you could actually create that if you held it the right way and you shined a flashlight, which we'll show a little bit later on. So I find that to be cool. I find this to be cooler because you could actually do that. I find this to be the coolest. Most of you are like, whatever, okay? We're actually going to get into this second part of 1.1 today and how looking at it from different angles leads to different shapes, or in this case, literally shadows, like him said, okay? I want you to go, you probably realized the other day, how many of you were like, okay, I definitely know to stop here because this paper popped up, yeah? Cool. That's called isometric dot paper, okay? Have you ever seen it before?
Yes.
A little bit? Where? Or on your own? Did they ever use it in class?
No, I've seen it before. I don't remember where.
Okay.
I know isometrics from isometric video games view.
Okay. So there are two variations of isometric paper. I typically stick with this one. Okay. There's also this one. Okay. I know they might seem exactly the same, but they're not. Isometric means everything is the same distance. So if I picked a point here, you should be able to identify the points that are the same distance away. So like that. No. That and that are all the same distance away from said point. Okay? What you can't ever do is this, because that is not the same distance as, what do you think? That, okay? So this is the most common isometric paper. There's this one, I don't love this one as much, but in this regard, you're here, 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 but what you can't connect are necessarily the diagonals. I wouldn't worry about this straight one too much. This is the one you're going to run into quite a bit. You might have seen it like in a perspective class. They ever do perspective drawing? Okay, whatever. Okay, what I want you to do, I know this sounds kind of silly, I just want you to take a couple of minutes, and I just want you to play around the paper and try to draw a cube, a small cube, and there's a couple of different ways. I want you to think about the process, the order in which you went. So go ahead, just draw a cube. Play around that paper. I have plenty of that paper, so you don't have to worry about like ruining it. What's up?
Do we have to start at each dot? Or can we start with
Yes.
Don't start off, well, how are you going to know it's the right distance if you don't start at a dot? I would start at a dot. Just play around with it a little bit. Draw more than one. Draw more than one because I'm going to ask you, like, in what order did you do it, which I know sounds silly. I'm not going to do this for like 30 minutes. We're just going to do this for a minute or two, I promise. Okay. So, a couple things. You will need a straight edge. Don't worry about getting them now. If you have your own, that's great. You might not necessarily go straight edge for these little 1 by 1 by 1 cubes, but when you draw bigger figures like you will today, I need them to have a straight edge, okay? This is actually a class where your sketches matter quite a bit. Okay, so I've seen a lot of approaches, okay? I'm just curious if anybody went with any of these. I've had a lot of students before tell me they like the Y. Has anybody ever drawn a Y before? Anybody draw a Y? How would you build out the cube from there? You draw the Y, and then what that actually gives you is your X, Y, and do you know what the third axis is actually? Yeah, easy guess, right? It gives you your X, Y, and Z, and then you can go here, and there, and there, and then connect. I know you're like, how many strategies do I need? Well, just stay tuned. You want options for when we do the tougher figures, okay? Anybody draw it as a different shape to start? I did the Y. Anybody do anything else? Okay, Cora?
I did a diamond, like stuff like
Here,
Yeah.
like that?
Yeah.
Anybody else draw something like that? Okay. Now, what would that be? How would you finish it from there?
You would add a line down.
That's your top, yeah? So we're here, there, 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 there. There's obviously a line in the back that we can't see, okay, which is fine. Anything else? Any others?
I drew
Cool.
a hexagon.
Okay, can you come up and show us what you mean by the hexagon? This is like the last one I'm going to show, then I'll tell you what else there is. We're going to do more than just draw 1 by 1 by 1 cubes today, I promise. Okay, but the hexagon is one I wanted to make sure we covered. Anybody else draw that hexagon? Ooh, spicy. Round of applause for Cole. Okay, cool. Now,
The opposite of the Y.
yeah, exactly. Now, I'm not here to tell you the way you did it is wrong unless it's actually wrong. So if you did something I didn't show, because I get this all the time. People are like, well, I did this. Okay, I mean, they're all the same cube. But when you run into more involved pictures later, you might want to think about something that we showed up there. But they're all the same unit cube. It's not that exciting. Okay, this is isometric dot paper. You are going to see it. You need to get comfortable with it. You can hopefully see the 3 dimensions. Okay, so if I was looking at this, we'll get into this as we progress. If I call that my X and I call that my Y, then what's actually going 3-dimensionally here? Z. Okay, you think about that a lot. If you're really struggling with the 3D stuff, I tell people look at the corner of the room. X, Y, Z. Okay? So on that paper somewhere, go ahead and draw a 1 by 2 by 3 rectangular prism. Not really worried about where the 1 and the 2 and the 3 is. So it could be flipped or rotated. We've addressed that. And this is why I'm talking to you about straight edges, and we'll get into the fun stuff. up a little better, but. Isaac, sometimes the notability lines, the straight lines go off the grid. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
It's annoying. I know, because I do all my work on notability, and it like snaps the line. It's not quite as good. Okay? Now, I didn't tell you what needs to be. It typically goes length, width, height, but I didn't tell you which direction to go in because, remember, it doesn't matter. Length, width, height, it can always be rotated as long as you have all the proper dimensions. This is why I need you to invest in a straight edge today. We'll get to them in just a moment if you don't already have it. But let's say I wanted to go 1 here, okay? I do not want anybody here drawing in lines of more than 1 like that. I don't care if it looks like good enough for you. Use the straight edge, okay? Take a look at the person near you. See if you drew the same one or if you drew it rotated at all. Okay, flip the page. You can always go back to that. If you don't have a straight edge, send somebody to the back and grab one. You can grab a protractor or a ruler. Okay, we'll come back to this in just a little bit. Go to the next page, please. Okay, so what you just looked at, and there's your definition. Good job if you're copying it in. You just looked at what's called isometric drawing. It shows a corner view of a three-dimensional figure. It allows you to see in particular, now you might see some variations out there. You might look at something like halfway across the world and they might have it different. They might show left instead of right. Well, that's, okay, but it allows you to see the top, the front, and the right side of the figure. We use this dot paper to draw. I typically provide it for you. Okay, so you shouldn't have to go searching for it. Okay. Hey, Miss James!
Oh my goodness, this is like...
Isometric drawings, Miss James. We're
Oh
back.
my gosh, I didn't think you could fit this many kids in the room at one time.
In that white one down there in the bottom,
Oh,
I've got like no shortage of it. Okay. So
thank you.
what you will see is, if you look at this figure, you can clearly see the top, you can see the front, you can see the right side. They typically label them for you. Just because we can't see the back or the left or the bottom, that doesn't mean they're not there. It's just we can only see so many things. Okay? I want you to make a note right here somewhere that they typically shade the tops. So in this case, the whole figure is colored. But if I was only shading the tops, I would shade this, that, and that. So if you went back to your prisms, you don't need to. You would shade the tops. That'll help you with what we do next, okay? Scale of 1 to 10, 10 being I could do this for a grade, 1 being never. How confident do you feel you could draw that figure accurately?
9.
Okay. All right. Not bad. You don't need to draw that one right now. We're going to start with some easier ones, okay? So I want you to go ahead, and you should have on the left side, go ahead and try to draw an isometric drawing of that cube structure and shade the tops. Straight edge matters. I mean, you could use them for 1 if you want, but if it's more than 1 and it's a little wobbly, I'm going to be sad. Where you draw it is not that critical. Okay, so if you draw it on the left side, right in the middle, shouldn't be too bad. Shade the tops. Give me a thumbs up when you think you have it. Okay, so we'll get to better ones later, I promise. These are baby ones. You gotta crawl before you can walk. Okay, now they're going to show you another approach there. Okay, but I'm guessing a number of you probably did. I could be wrong, but I'm just going off of what I've seen students do before. I have seen a lot of students, they kind of go, their first one, isn't it like too high? So they start kind of like going down, then they draw like this, and you approach like that. Remember, it doesn't matter if you end up in the right spot, but here's the way that they recommended doing it. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. Okay, they said draw the entire front first. Can I see hand up? David, draw the entire front first like that? One person? Put it up proud. Put it up proud. No one else? Okay. What do you think they drew next? The right edges. So they made it 3D. They took a 2D figure, and then they made it 3D, and then all you need to do from there is draw the back edges, and then you end up there. Okay? Now wait a minute, I'm curious. Don't lie to me, because I think I know the answer. How many of you have a picture that looks like that, but you have that in there? Put it up proud. Okay, cool. So, you might say, I did it right. Why would the book possibly want me to draw it like that? Have a conversation. Why do you think that they actually drew it like this and didn't put this in? You probably also have this too. It's all about why they chose to draw the side like that. Okay, now hold on to that thought. You might have an idea. You might feel like, I have absolutely no idea. It'll come back later. Now the book didn't do something I asked you to do. What did they ask you to do? I asked you to shade those two tops before you did. Okay? If you drew it in with these lines, I'm not worried about it. We'll talk about why they chose to draw it like this and why it matters later on. Okay, instead, try this one. Let's see if I can make those these off to the side. This one shouldn't be too bad. Then we're going to turn you loose on the other two in groups in just a second. They're going to ask this in a moment. Any idea how many cubes are making up that figure? Alma? Yeah, if there's not a cube underneath, it's some magic trick that we don't quite understand. Okay? Got it big. Okay? Now again, I asked you to shade the tops. So I'm looking here. I'm looking there. I'm looking there. Okay? And it's a comfort thing. So why did I show you like 4 different ways to draw a cube? Not because you need to do it 4 different ways. You have to decide what works for you. Okay, you ultimately land at that picture. Now I want you to talk about them as well. Work on the next 2 and draw them very carefully. Go ahead and talk about them and compare. Or maybe you draw and then compare. Okay, go ahead and start with this one.
I got you.
No, I'm not drawing more than one line.
Oh, is it?
Yes. I'd like to see a straight edge on this. Trust me, it'll save you. Yeah, those were cool. We're doing both of them. We're doing we're doing both of the ones on the bottom, sorry. Remember to shade the tops. Shade those tops. A lot of you are done with the first one, working the second one, which is good. And the fun begins. You typically aren't going to do like 30 of these. You're going to get a couple, so when you get them, they take time, but they want to be done well. You think these are fun? Hold that thought.
Oh my god.
Maybe, you might still think they're fun. I don't know. Can I show the first one? Bada bing, bada boom. Now, wait, couple things. You might say, I've got it, but I've got all these extra edges in. I'd like for you to erase them and have it match this. For reasons you will see in just a few minutes. Okay? Also, a couple of you did it, but most of you did not. Guess what words you should put in there? Front and right. You actually don't have to put top in. Front and right. If you have front and right in, we know where the top is. But you can also just do F and then R. You'll see right almost all the time. I've seen some weird publications where they do left, but like maybe it's in Australia or something. Okay.
Australia.
The whole, I had to do the whole thing. Okay. How does that one look outside of, if you drew the lines in, does everything else look okay with that one? Yay, nay? Okay, good. Oh, you'll notice though, I pulled this from the book. Guess what they didn't do? They didn't shade the tops. The shading of the tops is actually not just something I want you to do. I want you to do it for yourself. It should help you. Okay? You can do the second one too. I'll give you a minute or two. What's up? Go ahead. Good luck. This one's fun. Beautiful. We have an early front runner with Coles. Coles are magnificent. Is it magnificent?
It's pretty nice.
Is it tough?
Yeah, I didn't
But they got all the lines you can. You got to label F and R. Right?
If I like do this,
Couple more minutes to finish up that one on the right. And again, if you put in the extra cube lines, think about which ones I might ask you to erase when this one gets shown, because that might happen. If you are at a table and you feel confident while people are finishing, so you got about 1 minute, I want the confident person to come up and grab 8 of these big cubes for your whole table. 8 total. 8 total. 8 of the big cubes for the whole table. Hardest part, right? I'm going to show this one. Once people have the cubes, I'm going to show that one.
I'll be the blue one on the right. Because I am. Should we do it?
Okay, and I'm showing that last drawing, and I'll tell you why you need the cubes in a second. You put them aside. 3, 2, 1. Now remember, I shouldn't say 3, 2, 1 just yet. I am probably going to ask some of you to erase a few lines. I did say, I know there's a lot, If you think you know what those lines are, you shouldn't draw or should erase. I wanted you to try to erase them, and this is kind of where we landed. So again, if you drew in this, that, they should be erased, which we're going to talk about now why that's the case. Now I get asked all the time, can I draw them and then just erase them? Again, nobody's stopping you from doing that, but they have to be clearly erased. Okay? That's what that figure looks like. And again, they didn't shade the tops. So actually what this one should look like, it should be shaded here. This should be one big shade right here. Yeah? Yes? Okay, cool. So, question is, okay, well, there's two. Why do we have the blocks? You'll see that in a second. Two, why are we not showing each individual grid line? That's kind of going up now. Do you have an idea?
Because they're like, the ones that are connected, like, don't get shown.
Okay. So this is going to be a question of what gets shown. Let's go back to this. This probably seemed like a very, man, this new clicker is like pretty, but it's not working the way I want. This might have seemed incredibly random earlier, which, fun fact, in geometry, there's more random stuff I could show you than algebra. It's actually not. So the question is, what is being shown? Okay, so Elena, what did you just say?
The two blocks that are connected, like on a flat face, are not the lines.
If you have, see, it doesn't happen if we're not playing with blocks. If you have connected blocks in a row, you're not going to see them that way. You're going to see them as one flat object, depending on where you look at it from, okay? So that's actually where we're going. So I want you to do right now is I want you to, as a table, that should not take long, build this figure. Look at that, you did it. Yeah, you gotta share. I made sure you picked up 8 for a reason. You should use 8 blocks. Okay, we have it? Yes? Now what I want you to do, I know this sounds silly, I want you to get up out of your chair, and I want you to look at it from all sides. Wait! And ask yourself, what would I actually see if I was looking at it from that angle, including the top? Go ahead. Come on. Okay, quick, break it down, make the one before it, make that one. Make that one. And then do the same thing, look at it from all angles. Like a gallery walk. Make sure you look at it from the top and then sit down. And then let's get to the next part, which is the most fun. Okay, so don't play with the blocks. You'll need them again. But you should have looked at it at each side with the question of, okay, what would I actually see? What you should have thought is, there's things I can see, and there's things I know are there that I can't actually see. Is that the case? That's the way it should be. Okay, cool. What about this figure right here? If I was going to build this, I heard 8. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Looks like a winner. Go ahead, build this figure now. Last one you're going to build. And then leave it. Okay. Once you've built it, hands off. I love that. That's great. Fine craftsmanship. Okay, hands off. We'll come back to it a little bit later. So what we're going to look at now, finally, after teasing it quite a bit, is this idea of that beginning. What were we looking at at all? Okay? So have a conversation about that question. When you shine a flashlight on that object, okay, I know it's small, you can see a shadow on the opposite wall. What shape would you expect on each wall if the flashlight were to be shined? Go ahead and have a quick conversation. You gotta say where, too. All right, so let's see how you did. This wasn't supposed to be too taxing, but nonetheless. So if we did this, it's the only way I can do it. So they're going to flash that one. And then if you look at the other side, we're looking at rectangle. So if we're looking at the solution here, you should have said, if we flash that one, triangle. What if you flash this one? Yeah? Okay? Not too challenging. In fact, easier than the shape from earlier. Okay, same kind of idea. So what are we doing here? Okay, now we're putting in our next definition. An orthographic drawing, also called a projection, shows 3 separate views of a 3D figure. A top view, a front view, and a right side view. I just wrote, shows 3 separate views of a 3D figure, top, front, right. They definitely take more time to analyze, but they give unique information about the shape of a structure. You can predict what a picture would look like without being able to see the whole 3D figure if I just gave you an orthographic drawing. They also call it projection. They also call it projection. So in theory, I could have given you the flashlight symbols and you could have figured out it was a triangular prism. Now remember, don't be afraid if occasionally, I might see this over the next couple of weeks. I might see some of you working on a homework problem and you might be working and you might stand up so you can see the top or move so you can see the left. It's okay. The trickiest part about it is the diagrams look a little wonky. Okay, but you'll get used to them. Okay, gotta go on? Okay. So, please take a look at that structure. This is the 3D representation. This is what's called the orthographic projection. This is the top, this is the front, this is the right side. I want you to just quickly talk about, do you notice anything about what they're doing here? There's something a little bit different I didn't talk about. So go ahead. This is supposed to be the orthographic view of this figure. What do you notice over here? Quick conversation, go ahead. Okay, so I would start with what I think works for me. Personally, every orthographic drawing is different. I think the top is the most straightforward. That's just my opinion on this one. If you were to actually look down on this, you would see that, and then what would you see right next to it? This like horseshoe shape. Okay, I don't think that's that bad. Okay, I also don't know if the front is that bad. But again, you have to imagine that you are standing right here looking at it there. So there's things you would see and things you wouldn't see. You definitely wouldn't see the top. You're not that tall. Okay, but if I was standing right there, I would see this shape. Looks good. They're claiming I would see this. Where is that? Inside, yeah. And then they're also claiming I would see this, which is right there. Not too bad. The right side is where if I were you, I'd be like, what is going on? Because what do you notice the right side has in its drawing? Good. Anybody talk about there? Maybe you, I didn't give you a lot of time. Maybe you just said there's different kinds of lines. Quick talk with anybody. What you think the different lines mean? There's solid lines, there's dashed lines. See if you can figure it out. Okay. Any thoughts? Any thoughts? Layla. Can't hear Layla. Go ahead. What do you mean a gap? Doesn't happen if we're not playing with the blocks. I'm not sure about gap, so to speak. Okay, Cece.
Because you don't know that there's for sure the two.
You don't know for sure. Okay, let's start with the right side. Do we all agree you would see this if you were standing here?
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Fun fact, the solid lines indicate depth changes. So the fact that this is what you see, then there's a solid line, that means this is a different depth than these. That's actually been consistent throughout. Okay? this side right there, that dotted line is a little bit weird. What if I told you, you gotta look very carefully, there's an edge that's hidden that you can't see from that angle. If you were standing here, you would see a hidden edge that's not quite there, right here. That's why we would draw in the dotted line, okay? So let's make a couple of notes. There's two kinds of lines. I want you to make these notes. You use solid lines for visible edges or depth changes. So let's talk about the top. I think the top looks okay to us. But you and I know these aren't the same depth. How do we know that? We can see this figure. But the solid line in between means we're not saying this piece is the same depth or height as that. In fact, we all know who's taller, the horseshoe or this rectangle thing? The rectangle thing. But we don't care. If we were looking straight down, we would see this, and that means they're different depths. Looking at from the front, okay, the front actually right here goes a little bit higher. This depth is further back, and this depth is right back up. So that's why they have the solid line. The weird part are the hidden edges. I can actually see it right there. Okay, oops, I didn't mean to move it. If I was looking here, I would see that clear. I wouldn't see this edge, but it's there. We know it's there because we have the 3D figure. That's why we mark it with this dashed edge right here. These are, where is it? In my opinion, the hardest thing. Use dashed lines for hidden edges. The hidden edges are the hardest part. That's okay. That's why you got to take time to look at. If the hardest part for you are the hidden edges, you'll be fine. With practice, you'll get there. Okay? But now you see why I didn't want you drawing all the individual blocks, because that's not what you would see. You would see something more along the lines of this. Okay? So I want you to now take a look at that figure I had you construct and see if you can figure out one of these doesn't belong. There's top, front, and right. I want you to identify which is the top, which is the front, which is the right, who's the odd man out. Go ahead. I also want you to identify top, front, and right, and then who the odd man out is. Don't be afraid to look at your figure. I asked you to make it. Yes, just stand up a little. Okay, now look at all the options. There's no dashed lines. What does this figure not have any of? That's good. Okay, so let's go back, because some of you probably still didn't believe me about the hidden edge. Again, imagine yourself looking here, and you can actually see there are edges back here. Somebody said about the figure being hollow, so to speak, that are there, that you can see from this side, but not there. This guy, none. Good to go. Okay? So, anybody feel good about one of these pieces? Well, who's the odd man out? Does anybody know who the odd man out is? I want you to yell out nay when I point to the odd man out. No, just nay when I point to the odd man out. Nay. Okay, no one likes this one. Okay, so if that's the case, we should be able to match everybody. Okay, anybody feeling good about any of them? Casey, front, right, top, you pick one. Which one? Who's what?
The first one's the top.
Do we all like that one as the top? Okay, now remember, we're not saying they're the same depth. The solid line tells you they're a different depth. In fact, who's the highest one? Isn't it that one? Who's next highest? And that one. But we don't care. We just need to map it, and the solid lines mean they're a different depth. Casey, pick somebody to identify one of the other two.
The second one's right.
We like that one as the right? Yes? Okay, process elimination. What's this guy? Front. Okay. Oop, 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 oop. Cool. It's really nice when they don't have hidden edges. Promise. Okay? Good. Take a look at this figure right here. You can build it. Go ahead.
It's just like stairs.
It is like stairs. This time, I want you to draw your top, front, and right drawings, and let's see how we do. Build it and then look at it later if you need to.
No edge line. Oh yeah, the front building thing is on right. And then the front is also to the right.
Try to account for, are there any hidden edges? What should your lines be? Well, it's actually not too bad. Shame on the book. Shame. Fun fact, this one's not that bad. If you're like, that seemed a little easy, this one's decent. Okay. Jack, go ahead. Thumb up when you got all three. Front, right, top, front, and right, sorry. You can use your figure to look at. I'm asking people come up and draw what they see. Yeah, for Jenga, but done. Sari, do you have the top done?
Yes.
You want to come draw the top?
Sure.
You don't need to worry about a straight edge. It's okay. Thumb up if it's good, thumb down if we're not sure. Okay? I get asked all the time, do I have to draw in these lines? Why is the answer yes? They're different depths, all three of them. Okay, but if you looked at this straight on from the top, like a helicopter, boom, 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 would look like a line, different depths. Okay, good. Sari, pick somebody from a different table to do the front.
Cora.
Still offended, I know. Okay. You look so sad. It's okay. It's going to be all right. We are drawing the front. Oh wait, the front looks exactly like the top, doesn't it? Yes. Okay, good. Okay, pick somebody to do the right. Different table. Just pick them. Who cares if they want to do it or not? There we go. And we've got two more of these. One I think you have, one I don't have. This is much better than your cube the other day. I've been practicing, I can tell. Oh, let's go back to earlier. Now you know why I don't want you drawing in all the lines. If you drew in all of these lines, like each individual cube, what would you be saying? They're all different depths. Oh my goodness, no way. That's why you can't get into that stuff. It is not going to help you with your orthographic drawings. It's actually not that. No hidden edges, right? Yeah, cool. Last one. Last one. Build it. Build it. Top, front, and right. Be careful. I do have actually one more for you after this, but it's not on your page. It should be left on your page. Do you have enough blocks? You do.
What is that? No, it's the exact same like this. It's not bad. It doesn't matter. It's the same. Right. So it'd be like a lot is like right tall, and then like on the side. The right is bigger.
Not what?
Okay, that's right.
It takes time. It's only day one.
One day, but day one.
We're good. We're able to do the homework. That's not good. Does it say 1.2? What does it say at the top of that page? 1.2? No. Remember, you can always look at schools and see what. All right. Let's see. Who was the last one to go up here? Okay. Elena, pick somebody to do the top. I have in order top, front, right. Okay. Now again, they didn't shade the tops. I find shading the tops to be helpful. Okay, so I'll put that in there. We got top. How does it look? Looks good to me. Okay, the L shape is over here, and again, I'm going to show you something from the book here in a moment. I don't want to give it away. They actually will rotate the figure. But imagine again, you were right on top looking at it. You would see this L shape at one depth. We know it's lower because we see the figure. Okay, but then you have this piece right here, which is actually a little bit higher up. Okay, pick somebody to do the right side. Different table. Pick them. Who's being chosen? Benji, can you do the right side or the front for us? Or right side, front or right side, you can pick. Why don't you do the right side? Right side good?
Yeah, sure.
Then we'll talk about the front. Okay, very good. Round of applause here. Round of applause. Again, picture yourself. Picture yourself standing right here, looking at it. Well, this piece right here, that's right there. This piece is right here. Sometimes people miss this piece. Where is it? Back there. You'd be able to see it from there. Okay? Well, now we talked about the front, and this is where it gets annoying, but it wouldn't be a math class if there wasn't something annoying to it, right? So have a conversation with people around you, unless you already did, about do you like what you have for the front before I show you the figure actually being moved.
And this is wrong.
Alright, so let's see where we stand. So here's the figure. See, they can actually move it a little bit. We don't necessarily have that capability. Makes me hit play every time. This is part of the reason I don't necessarily love your textbook. Okay? Alright, so here we go. That's what we talked about. That one looks pretty good. Okay, I feel like we have that one, no problem. Solid lines show the visible edges, we're good. Okay, now they're going to take this figure. Oh, wait. I walked around, a lot of you didn't have any kind of hidden edge. But I need you to see it. It's really nice that they can do this. Once they view it from the front, there's your hidden edge. Okay? Now where you view it is kind of up to you. I don't know if anybody thought this. I actually viewed that as the edge. I can't see. They kind of showed it right there. But if you're standing right here looking, you will see this front. You won't see this edge. It's a separate piece. It's not one big continuous piece. This edge is back there, therefore it is hidden. Okay, you'd have a different view of the right side. So your front, I don't know if anybody caught this, that your hidden edge should be right there. Don't lie to me, hand up if you caught the hidden edge. Now, it is okay if you did not. I already told you, I think the most challenging part is going to be the hidden edges. If that's your biggest challenge, you'll get better at it, okay? But I can see it right here. Again, I'm looking at it. I can see this piece, but it's not a solid piece. And if you drew this line in, which some of you I know did, you have the right idea, but you got to ask yourself, can I actually see it, or do I just know it's there? The answer is I just know it's there. There's no way you can see this piece. Don't tell me you can. Okay, that's like Fantastic Four stuff. Yes?
Like the piece for the front, the L, like the arm right thing, isn't there also like a hidden, but if the hidden and the shown don't overlap, you just write the shown.
Yeah, exactly. If there's a hidden and one you can see, then you can see the edge, so to speak. But you're not seeing this one at all. You're talking about down here. Yeah, okay, good question. Okay, but again, that might be the only thing you're missing right now. I got one extra one for you. Okay, go ahead and talk about this one. You can't build this one. Talk about what this one would look like.
And then
I guess you can try to build it. It's not going to go well. You know what? Put my cubes back, by the way, before I show this one in a minute or so. Put my cubes back. Then I will show this one in a moment. You don't have to draw this one unless you feel like it. There we go. Yeah. Now, yeah, I already heard some complaints about not liking this shape. Well, you're not going to see a lot of unconventional shapes like this right away, okay? But we'll start with this, okay? Quiz. I don't care where it is, front, right, whatever. Thumb up if you think there's any hidden edges. Thumb down if you think there's not any hidden edges. You think there's some, you think there's not any. Ooh, nice mix. Nice mix, okay? Okay. Well, let's go with each one. We don't have a lot of time to discuss these, but nonetheless, we'll go forward from there. Okay, so first one they have is, I can never remember which order they go in. Top. Okay, well, I guess I showed it to you at the top. How does the top look? It would actually be three, it seems weird. People don't think you'd be able to see anything. You would actually be able to see three squares sitting from the top. Okay, now I'm going to show where there's some hidden edges. Does anybody know from which direction? Actually, I think what the good one is, do we at least like the view from the right? How would you describe this thing? Weird? It is. It's probably the most irregular hexagon in history. Okay, it is one. It's got 6 sides. Does the front have any hidden edges? How many? Now, I said this, and you're going to get sick of it, but I don't care. It's okay if it's like, I don't see it right away. That's why the homework is like more vital than it's ever been for some of you. You can get better at these things. You can, but you have to want to. Okay, but the accuracy is kind of part of it. And don't be ashamed in the homework later. If you need to like stand up and look at the page or rotate the page, doesn't matter. Okay, there's no hero points for like getting it right by not looking at it that way. Okay, put my straight edges back. The homework, you should know what it is. You should know where it ends. If you don't know where it ends, just check Schoology, but just the second part of 1.1. Now you understand my high. Isometric.